The rain hammered down like 1,000 restless memories, drowning the city in cold silver light. Cars hissed through puddles, neon signs flickered, and thunder grumbled in the distance as if the heavens themselves were warning that something unforgettable was about to happen. Inside a dim roadside diner called Rosie's Haven, the smell of fresh coffee mingled with the weariness of people trying to make ends meet. Behind a fogged window sat Jack Turner, a man whose quiet eyes carried the weight of battles both fought and survived. A decorated war veteran turned single father, Jack was built like a wall, steady, scarred, and stubbornly human. He wore an old army jacket, faded by time and loss. Across from him, his 8-year-old daughter Maya giggled softly as she drew pictures of superheroes on napkins. Her laughter, fragile but bright, was the only sound that could still pull him back from the ghosts of war. Jack worked long nights at a repair shop, patching up engines and his own broken dreams. He had seen fire, blood, and the silence that followed explosions, but nothing scared him more than the idea of failing the little girl smiling across the table. He didn't know it yet, but that night, fate was about to test him again, not with bullets, but with conscience. Behind the counter moved Lila Brooks, a young waitress in her mid-20s, with chestnut hair tied into a messy ponytail and tired eyes that still found the strength to smile. She had only been working at Rosie's Haven for a few weeks, but everyone noticed her grace, soft-spoken, kind, and patient even with the rudest customers. Jack admired that. People who stayed kind in a cruel world were warriors too. But then the door burst open with a rush of cold wind. A sleek black car screeched to a stop outside, and in stepped Damian Cole, a man wrapped in wealth and arrogance. His expensive coat glistened with raindrops, his gold cufflinks flashed under the diner's yellow light. He didn't walk in, he arrived, as if the whole world owed him attention. He spotted Lila and smirked. "Well, look who's hiding behind an apron," he drawled. "Didn't think a Marlowe girl would sink this low." Lila froze, the coffee pot trembling slightly in her hand. "Can I get you something to drink, Mr. Cole?" she asked softly, avoiding his eyes. Damian laughed loud enough for everyone to hear. "Oh, come on. Don't pretend we don't know each other. You're the billionaire's runaway princess. Thought you could disappear by serving coffee?" Every head in the diner turned. Lila's cheeks burned red. Jack's instincts sharpened, he knew that tone. It was the same tone bullies used when they found someone weaker to corner. Damian leaned on the counter, voice dripping with mockery. "You think your daddy's money won't find you? You're a Marlowe, you belong in mansions, not mopping floors." Jack clenched his jaw. Maya tugged his sleeve. "Daddy, that man's being mean." Jack's eyes darkened. "Yeah," he whispered, standing slowly. "He is." He approached the counter, tall, broad-shouldered, the quiet authority of a soldier returning to duty. His boots thudded against the linoleum floor. Damian barely noticed him until his shadow stretched across the counter. "Everything okay here?" Jack asked evenly. Damian turned, smirking. "Mind your own business, tough guy. This is between me and her." Jack's voice was calm, almost too calm. "Then it's between me and you now." Damian scoffed. "You have no idea who I am." Jack's gaze was steady, unflinching. "Don't need to. I already know what you are." A hush fell over the diner. Even the rain outside seemed to pause. Damian stepped closer, his arrogance cracking just slightly. "You're making a mistake, friend." Jack took another step forward, close enough for Damian to see the faint scar running down his temple, a reminder of places where men didn't talk, they acted. "Walk away," Jack said quietly. "Before you embarrass yourself more." For the first time, Damian hesitated. The man's presence, calm but deadly, made him falter. After a long moment, he sneered, grabbed his umbrella, and stormed out, muttering, "This isn't over." The bell above the door jingled weakly as silence rushed in behind him. Lila exhaled shakily, tears glistening in her eyes. "You shouldn't have done that," she whispered. "He's dangerous." "So am I," Jack said softly, then turned back toward Maya's booth. Maya grinned up at him. "You saved her, Daddy." Jack smiled faintly. "Just did what was right, kiddo." Later that night, when the diner emptied and the rain softened to a mist, Lila approached his table with 2 paper cups, one steaming hot chocolate for Maya, one coffee for him. "Thank you," she said quietly. "No one's ever stood up for me before." Jack shrugged. "You didn't deserve that." She hesitated. "You don't even know who I am." He met her eyes. "Doesn't matter." Lila swallowed hard. "That man, Damien, used to work for my father. When I left home, he took it personally. My father, he's Leonard Marlowe, CEO of Marlowe Industries." Jack blinked. The name was everywhere: news, billboards, skyscrapers. Marlowe Industries built half the city. "You're his daughter?" he asked. She nodded. "Yeah. But not anymore, I guess." "Why'd you leave all that?" Her smile was sad. "Because money builds walls. I wanted to build a life." Before he could answer, bright headlights cut through the rain. A black SUV stopped outside the diner. 2 men in dark suits stepped out, scanning the place with professional precision. Lila's breath caught. "Oh no, he found me." "Who?" Jack asked, already standing. "My father's men. He's been looking for me for months." The men entered, stiff and formal. "Miss Marlowe, your father insists you come home. Now." "I told him I'm not going back," Lila said firmly. One reached for her arm. Jack moved faster, gripping the man's wrist in a single, precise motion. She said no. Pain flickered across the man's face. "Sir, this doesn't concern you." "It does now." The other man stepped forward but stopped when Jack's cold, soldier's stare met his. Something in that look, discipline, quiet danger, made them back off. "We'll inform Mr. Marlowe," one muttered before both left. Lila's shoulders slumped. "You shouldn't have done that. You'll just get dragged into something you don't understand." Jack exhaled slowly. "Maybe. But I've seen worse." For the first time that night, she smiled through her fear. "You're different, Jack Turner." He smiled faintly. "So are you, Lila Marlowe." When the diner finally closed, Jack walked her home through the rain, Maya asleep in his arms. Outside her small apartment building, she turned to him. "You really are a good man." He chuckled softly. "Trying to be." As he walked away into the fog, unaware of the black car idling at the corner, a shadow watched him through the rain-streaked window. Damien Cole, his expression twisted with rage. "This isn't over," he muttered, gripping the steering wheel. "Not even close." The next morning, pounding on Jack's door jolted him awake. 2 police officers stood outside. "Jack Turner?" "Yes." "You're under investigation for assaulting Damien Cole last night." "What?" he said, stunned. "Mr. Cole filed a formal complaint. Says you attacked him without reason." Jack's heart sank. Maya peeked from behind the door, eyes wide with fear. He lifted his hands calmly. "I didn't do anything wrong. You can explain that downtown." As they led him away, rain began to fall again, quiet, relentless, and heavy with irony. From her window across the street, Lila watched in horror, tears streaming down her face. She pulled out her phone, trembling, and dialed a number she hadn't used in months. "Dad," she whispered, voice breaking. "It's me. I need your help." The rain hadn't stopped all morning. It drummed against the police station windows like a heartbeat, fast, impatient, and cold. Inside a gray interrogation room, Jack Turner sat handcuffed to a steel table. His knuckles were raw, his eyes heavy, but his posture never broke. He'd faced interrogation before, just not from the people he'd once protected. Across from him, an officer flipped through papers, his tone indifferent. "So, Mr. Turner, you're saying this Damien Cole just provoked you?" Jack's jaw tightened. "No. I'm saying he was harassing a woman and I told him to stop." The officer sighed. "He claims you assaulted him." Jack looked straight at him, voice calm but cutting. "You ever seen a man with power lie? They do it like breathing. Before the officer could respond, the door opened. A woman in a tailored gray suit stepped in, confidence radiating off her like light. "Detective, this conversation is over," she said sharply, placing a folder on the table. "My client will not be answering." Jack frowned. "Who are you?" She turned to him with a polite smile. "I'm Claire Jennings, your attorney. Sent by Leonard Marlowe." Jack blinked. "Leonard Marlowe? The billionaire?" She nodded. "Yes. His daughter, Lila, contacted him this morning. He knows everything." Jack leaned back, disbelief flickering across his face. "He's really helping me?" "He's already on his way here," Claire said. "And so is Lila." At that same hour, a sleek black limousine pulled up in front of the precinct. Leonard Marlowe stepped out, tall, silver-haired, powerful, and used to having the world bend when he spoke. But beneath his tailored suit was the look of a father whose pride had finally cracked. Lila hurried beside him, her eyes red from crying. "Dad, please don't make this about reputation. He's a good man. He didn't deserve this." Leonard's voice was low but firm. "I know, sweetheart. I should have listened when you said you needed space. I thought protecting you meant keeping you locked away. I was wrong." The moment they entered the station, whispers spread. The billionaire's presence changed the atmosphere entirely. When the door to Jack's interrogation room opened, he looked up, expecting more bad news, and froze. Lila stood there, rain still in her hair, eyes full of guilt and relief all at once. "Jack," she said softly. "I'm so sorry." He managed a tired smile. "You didn't do anything wrong." Leonard stepped forward. "Mr. Turner, I owe you an apology, and my gratitude. My daughter told me what happened. You showed more courage in one night than most men with all the money in the world." Jack studied him. "Respectfully, sir, I didn't do it for your name. I did it because it was right." Leonard nodded slowly. "That's exactly why I respect you." Within hours, Leonard's legal team tore through Damian Cole's accusations. Witnesses from the diner confirmed everything. The CCTV footage surfaced Damian's harassment, Lila's pleas, and Jack's restraint. The truth hit the press like lightning. Veteran arrested after defending waitress rich harasser exposed. Headlines flooded the internet, shaming Damian Cole across every platform. By evening, Damian was arrested for harassment and filing false charges. Cameras caught him shouting as police escorted him away, his expensive world crumbling one flashbulb at a time. That night, Leonard Marlowe invited Jack and Maya to his mansion, not out of pity, but respect. The sprawling estate glowed softly against the night sky, guarded by silence and regret. Maya's eyes widened. "Wow, Daddy, it's like a fairy tale." Jack chuckled. "Maybe one with too many villains." Inside, everything was marble, gold, and memory. Lila greeted them in casual clothes, her warmth a sharp contrast to the mansion's chill. "I'm glad you came," she said sincerely. Jack nodded. "Didn't have much choice." Maya heard there might be cookies. Lila laughed, the kind of laugh that made the air softer. Leonard entered, carrying 2 envelopes. "Mr. Turner, this is compensation for what you went through and a little more for your daughter's future." Jack didn't even reach for it. "With all respect, sir, I don't want your money." Leonard blinked. "You don't?" Jack shook his head. "You can use it for something better, veterans, maybe. There are plenty who don't even get a lawyer when they're blamed for doing the right thing." For the first time in years, Leonard Marlowe didn't know what to say. He looked at the soldier-worn jacket, steady eyes, simple words, and felt something rare, humility. "You're an extraordinary man, Mr. Turner," he said quietly. "Perhaps the kind of man this world needs more of." Days turned into weeks. The story of the diner hero went viral. News anchors praised Jack Turner as the man who stood up against privilege. But fame meant nothing to him. He went back to work, fixing cars, cooking breakfast for Maya, and keeping his life simple. He wanted peace, not applause. But fate had another twist in store. One afternoon, while Jack was repairing a car, a familiar black SUV pulled up. Lila stepped out, no makeup, no entourage, just sincerity. She handed him a folder. "My father's starting something called the Marlowe Foundation for Veterans. He wants you to run it." Jack froze. "Me? I fix engines, not people." Lila smiled. "You already fixed one mine." He hesitated, eyes softening. "What would I even do?" "Be yourself," she said. "Lead with honor. The rest will follow." Months later, the Turner Marlowe Foundation for Veterans opened its first branch downtown, offering free counseling, job programs, and housing for ex-soldiers. The ribbon-cutting ceremony was small. Jack didn't care for cameras or speeches. But when Maya ran up with a flag she'd drawn herself, a simple heart inside a shield, he finally smiled. "This one's for you, Daddy," she said proudly. He knelt, hugging her tight. "No, sweetheart, this one's for all of us." Lila stood beside them, clapping softly, pride shining in her eyes. Leonard Marlowe watched from afar, not as a billionaire, but as a man finally reminded of what integrity looks like.